So it came to my attention that all the superhero movies that are coming out this year have all come out at this point. So today I thought I'd make a video ranking all of them. What's up guys, my name is Ryan, welcome to my channel if you are new here. So today, as I just said, I will be ranking all 4 superhero movies that have come out this year. I know you can make an argument that more than 4 have come out, like there's some animated films and there's some other films that are also based off of comic books. But in this video I'm only going to be ranking the 4 superhero films from Marvel and DC that have come out this year. When it comes to superhero or comic book films, I usually only stick with Marvel and DC. Usually anything outside of that, it's not really interesting to me, or I don't really like it, so that's kind of the criteria for today's video. But without further ado, let's just jump into it. Last place for me is gonna be Captain America: Brave New World. I know Marvel has had a lot of issues since post-Endgame because they were kind of demanded to put out this overhaul of content, so the quality of some of their projects kind of really dipped, and the quality was kind of up and down. It felt like they were putting out a great movie, then a really average, not very good movie, then another great movie, then another average, like mediocre movie. And it sounds like Marvel is starting to take steps in the right direction, and they are, and it looks like they are fixing their issues. But this film is unfortunately a part of that kind of average, still overhaul era or period of the MCU. Now, I don't think this is a bad film, it's just kind of an average Marvel movie for me. It's just fine. Nothing really pops or stands out about it. I do really enjoy seeing Sam as our new Captain America and his relationship and his rapport with Joaquin Torres, the new Falcon. I like how this film started making the MCU feel connected again. It touches on stuff from mainly Eternals and Incredible Hulk, but also a couple other MCU projects. I actually kind of like the direction they decided to go with this film, with, you know, kind of paying off and continuing some stuff that was set up in the Incredible Hulk, mainly with Tim Blake Nelson's character, Samuel Stearns, who finally becomes the leader in this film. For years I've been waiting to see the payoff for that, and it wasn't bad, but it wasn't that great either. The design of the character is really off-putting and kind of hard to look at, and the leader is supposed to be this really smart guy, but I felt like his plan wasn't anything like super smart or anything like that. I like the Red Hulk stuff and the decision to start building a new team of Avengers and all that by the end of the film. There are most certainly some things I enjoyed about this film, but really nothing popped, nothing phenomenal, nothing that really, you know, tugged on my heartstrings or really connected with me or anything like that. Just unfortunately another average Marvel film. Number 3 for me is going to be Superman, and I know to a lot of people out there that that is blasphemous, but unfortunately I just did not enjoy this film as much as a lot of other people did. I'm a big Superman fan. Superman is my favorite superhero, so I was really looking forward to this film, but unfortunately it disappointed me in a lot of areas. Now, there are certainly a lot of things about this film that I did enjoy. I love Superman's desire for and love for helping people, even the tiniest little squirrel that he saves in the film. I love his heart, and I love that speech he gives at the end. That was very Superman to me. But there were so many other things in this film that just did not feel very Superman to me. I really didn't like how Superman was kind of shouty, and he seemed to get really upset super easily, and to me that's just not Superman. Superman's supposed to be someone who, of course he goes through crud, of course he gets upset, but it felt like David Corenswet's version just got upset way too easily, and Superman is much smarter than that, and he's usually much better at keeping his cool and not just going off on people. He's supposed to be calm and keep a right head and right mind even in the face of difficulty and challenges. To me, that was just very off-putting, and I felt like a lot of the characters in this film weren't really done justice. I really did not like the versions of some of these characters, like Jimmy Olsen and Lex Luthor. I really didn't like how they made Jimmy Olsen this kind of ladies' man, and I don't think they really focused on like the main thing about him, which is that he's a photographer. And with Lex Luthor, I know a lot of people really enjoyed Nicholas Holt's portrayal. I thought it was really silly and cringy most of the time. It just did not work for me. Also, Krypto, I didn't like that they kind of just made him this normal dog who gets easily distracted by like treats or toys and doesn't listen. Krypto's supposed to be a much more intelligent dog than your average dog, and he's very faithful to and listens to Superman. So as cute as Krypto was, I didn't really like this version of him. And I really didn't like how we just kind of jump into this already established universe and they don't do what the MCU MCU does and like kind of build from the ground up and explain everyone's origin story and everything. When we jump into the film, Clark and Lois are already in a relationship. I personally would have liked to see them maybe meeting for the first time and, you know, starting to date and build that relationship and trust with each other. I would have liked to have gotten the backstories for characters like Mr. Terrific and Metamorpho and Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl. Now, I know their origin stories, and I know all the lore surrounding their characters, but for me, even someone who's a big superhero fan who knows a bunch of comic book lore and already knows who these characters are, it was just very off-putting to jump into this already established universe where they're not explaining a whole lot and they just expect you to know everything already. I did like the needle drops in this film though. James Gunn just has such a gift for knowing the perfect needle drops. I love the Mr. Terrific scene with Lois where he puts this force field around her and uses his T-spheres to fight off the soldiers and all that. And I love the Fortress of Solitude scene at the end where Superman is watching videos of his adoptive parents and growing up and the song Punk Rocker plays. The more I think about this film, the more the stuff I really enjoyed and thought was good gets better, but the stuff I really did not enjoy and thought wasn't very good gets even worse. Our runner-up for me is going to be the Fantastic Four First Steps. I thought this was a great step in the right direction for Marvel, just a solid, fun adventure that finally does these classic, important Marvel characters justice. I love the cast. The characters actually feel like a family. I love how they tackle the classic Fantastic Four storyline, the coming of Galactus. I actually liked how they set this film on its own separate Earth, and it has such a unique look to it. It takes place in this retro 60s futuristic city. It's just a very fun, simple adventure that I enjoyed. It was fun, it was funny, it was emotional at certain points. I love all the references to other characters from the Fantastic Four's lore, like mainly the references to some of their classic villains. Some of the shots in this film are like, if you pause it, it's like a live-action version of classic Fantastic Four comic book covers. I thought this was a really good film, but nothing here like really amazed me or tugged at my heartstrings all that much. Just for me personally, I felt like some of the emotion was just a bit lacking and I didn't feel as big of emotions as it was supposed to feel in certain scenes. I also felt like there was a couple lapses in logic that pulled me out of the film for a moment. I had to really think about whether that actually worked and made sense instead of paying attention to the film. I love how Marvel is usually pretty good at finding the balance between the fun and the humor and the seriousness and the weight of the plot and the situation of the film. And I know a common criticism for Marvel films recently has been that they're a bit too jokey, and I definitely agree with that. But this film I think has just a little bit of the opposite problem. I felt like it was just maybe a bit too serious and it wasn't as fun and as lighthearted, and it didn't always have that balance. But those are minor things. This is still a really good film that I cannot wait till it comes out on Blu-ray and I get to watch it again. Coming in at number 1 for me, and to me this was a very easy decision, is Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts was just, I thought was just amazing. Maybe a hot take, but it might be a top 5 MCU film for me. It's definitely in the top 10, but we'll have to wait and see if it's a top 5, but I don't know, it might be, guys. This film, I thought, just had pretty much everything. It had great characters. I especially loved Florence Pugh as Yelena, one of my favorite MCU characters, and I love Lewis Pullman as Bob or Sentry. I love the themes and the messages of this film, and I just thought it was such a great commentary on things like mental health, loneliness, purpose, community, redemption. I just thought this was a very useful and important film because it's tackling a lot of things that a lot of people, myself included, have struggled with and still do struggle with to this day. I just love how it so powerfully and effectively and clearly communicated the message of how you solve and deal with anxiety, depression, and all that. And it's with community. I love stories like this of taking these broken people who've done terrible things and who want a better life and a shot at redemption and just bringing them together, and they find community and family and they get that chance to redeem themselves. This film is so emotional. It has been a long time since I felt this much emotion in a film, and I thought it was just a great reminder of how this is how the Church of Jesus Christ should be. We should be, as the Thunderbolts do, you know, being a community and coming alongside each other and helping each other through our struggles and helping bear one another's burdens and helping each other get through life. The Church of Jesus Christ is supposed to be a family, like how the Thunderbolts come to be by the end of the film. I just thought this film was so profound. It had something to say, it had something phenomenal to say, and it said it and communicated it phenomenally. Now, is this a perfect film? No, unfortunately not. There are a couple instances where I think things didn't make 100% sense as to why certain characters were doing some of the things they were doing, and they kind of wasted or did dirty a certain character. If you've seen the film, you know who I'm talking about. But those are minor criticisms. Everything else is just so phenomenal. Everything this film does well. It does great. This is by far my favorite superhero film of the year. But there you have it, guys. All 4 2025 superhero films ranked, in my opinion. Please leave your ranking down below, and if you want to include some of the other comic book superhero films that have come out this year, like the animated ones or other films based off comic books, please do, and also leave a little explanation down below if you would like, and let me know why you loved or hated certain films. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and click right over here to subscribe if you enjoy my content. Right here is my review for Thunderbolts, actually, if you want to know my more in-depth thoughts on that film. I reviewed it with a good friend of mine. And then right here is a playlist of all the films that have come out this year that me and my friends have reviewed. In that playlist, you can find the reviews for almost every film I talked about on this list. But with that, I hope you all have a blessed one, guys, and I'll see you all in the next video.